It's a great day to be in real estate. This is Duanebeisner, sales manager and sales representative for ERA. For the quote of the day from Ben Stein, it is inevitable that some defeat will enter even the most victorious life. The human spirit is never finished when it's defeated. It is finished when it surrenders. And for the joke of the day, a young son of a family of 3 balloons was sufficiently small for him to sleep with his parents in their bed. Time came when he became too big to fit in the bed, and his father told him to go sleep in another bedroom. During the night, the son became afraid and went back to his parents, but he couldn't fit in. He undid the knot in his father's balloon to make him smaller and thus create some more space, and reknotted it. This didn't work, so he did the same to the mother balloon. Still didn't work, so he actually did the same to himself and eventually managed to snuggle in. The next day, the father saw his son, and very angry he said, "Son, you've let me down, you've let your mother down, and worst of all, you've let yourself down." And for the business tip of the day, when we make mistakes in business, the universe is telling us we need to adjust or change something. Think about that. And for the Darwin Award of the day, a subway driver found a body laying beside the underground tracks in Berlin. Because there was no video surveillance camera at that location, it took police 2 days to reconstruct what had happened. Apparently, Yassine, who was 22 years old, was alone in that subway car when he decided it would be a brilliant idea to destroy one of the windows. So, by holding onto a handrail and then swinging his feet forward into the window, he not only managed to burst the glass, but he also succeeded in being sucked out of the moving train and was left dead on the tracks. He was alone in the compartment at the time. If an observer had been present, perhaps the young underground rider would not have engaged in destructive nonsense that led to his senseless death. And for social commentary, this is called Sly Solo. Stallone admits he was considered for Star Wars. As you might know, I am a Star Wars buff, so I found this sort of odd and interesting. Actually, we all know Stallone has in the past been a scrappy underdog from Philly who got a shot at the heavyweight title. He was also a Vietnam vet out for justice, and he was even a truck driver that turned professional arm wrestler. But he missed his chance to be a stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder. In a recent question-and-answer session with readers of Ain't It Cool News, so Sly Stallone opened up about his roles that he's played in his career, plus a few that he didn't. Most notably, he revealed that he was actually considered for the role of Han Solo in the original Star Wars. You know, I find that really hard to believe myself. I think that would have greatly diminished those 3 Star Wars movies that Harrison Ford played if Stallone had done the role. I mean, he can barely talk. I don't think a Philadelphia accent would have worked very well in the future. But anyway, Stallone was asked by a fan to confirm that he had been answering a casting call for the character when he replied, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I did, and it didn't meet with much approval, since as I stood in front of George Lucas, he didn't even look at me." So he goes on to say that he recognized immediately that he was wrong for the role, saying, "Well, obviously I'm not the right type." Stallone doesn't seem to have any regrets, though, adding, "It all worked out for the best since I don't look good in spandex holding a ray gun." George Lucas can't be blamed too harshly for not giving Stallone much consideration at the time. At the time, Rocky had yet to be released, and Stallone's biggest role to that date had been Machine Gun Joe in the cult movie Death Race 2000. Originally, Star Wars was scheduled to be released in December of 1976, which would have put it in theaters at the same time as Rocky, which would have definitely affected how well Rocky had done. But delays in finishing the movie's groundbreaking special effects pushed the release to May 1977. But Stallone's in good company when it comes to actors who were considered for parts in Star Wars but didn't get them. Christopher Walken was reportedly Lucas's second choice for Han Solo. Now, how would that have worked? A crazy Han Solo? That doesn't make sense to me either. Kurt Russell was also screen tested for the part. That's a maybe. And according to casting director Nick Nolte, Richard Dreyfuss, John Travolta, and even Robert De Niro were all discussed as possibilities. No, 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 and no. One actor who was not considered for the role was Harrison Ford. Since Lucas didn't want to use any actors he worked with on American Graffiti, Ford was brought in solely to read scenes for the other actors' auditions, but after countless run-throughs of the scenes, it was clear that Ford was the best choice. Sylvester Stallone isn't the only star to recently admit that he passed on visiting Lucas's gallery far, far away. In an interview last month with Shortlist.com, Leonardo DiCaprio revealed that he turned down the part of Anakin Skywalker's in the Star Wars prequels, the last three movies that were made that were the three movies before the first three. And he said that he met with George Lucas about the role, but he just didn't feel ready to take that dive. And the same article, DiCaprio says he also passed on playing both Spider-Man and Batman's sidekick, Robin. So, Stallone might have piloted the Millennium Falcon, but it didn't stop him from spending 4 decades as a major movie star. Now for the real estate news, Senate approves increase in FHA fees. The Senate on Wednesday gave the Federal Housing Administration the go-ahead to raise monthly fees that borrowers pay the agency. The annual fee is expected to raise from the current rate of 0.55% to 0.9% of the total loan, almost double. The bill gives the FHA the authority to raise the annual fee as high as 1.55%, which would be 3 times the original. Wow. Simultaneously, the agency plans to lower the loan initiation fee that was raised from 1.75% to 2.25% earlier this year. Officials would like to drop the upfront fee down to 1% of the total mortgage amount. The net effect of lowering the upfront fee and raising the monthly fee would mean that someone who borrowed $170,000 at 5% would pay an extra $38 a month. Current mortgage holders won't be affected with this ruling. The fee changes are projected to bring in an extra $3.6 billion per year to help stabilize the agency's finances, which is, as you probably have heard, not in a good situation. Fannie, Freddie, this is the next story. Fannie and Freddie will not forgive underwater debt. Despite rumors to the contrary sweeping Wall Street and Washington, D.C., the White House says it's not planning to order Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to forgive a portion of the mortgage debt of millions of people who owe more than their homes are worth. The administration is not considering a change in the policy in this area, said Treasury spokesman Andrew Williams. And mortgage bond prices stabilized after the rumor was squashed. Once again, I always have to say at the end, remember, this is the best buyer's market that you and I will ever see in our lifetime. So if you or anybody you know are looking to take advantage of this market, give us a call here at ERA. We have global reach. Be happy to help you. If you think about getting into real estate, I'd love to talk with you. This is Duane signing off. Happy trails to you as always. Proud to be an American. Thank you for listening.